All right, we are live. Fred and I, those two gaming guys.
Are
Maybe
you sure?
quick because yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
says
Mine
broadcast is
says.
live.
All right, mine says it's
And I
off
put
the
the
air in the corner, so that's why the only reason
okay,
why I'm asking.
okay. Uh,
Ah,
just gonna kind of shoot off from the hip here.
shooting from
Just
the
real
hip.
quick. What do you think
Hmm.
of E3 this year so far?
Uh, yeah. Does that sum it up? I mean, there's some exciting stuff. I mean, obviously, what is that? Horizon, Zero Dawn or Dawn Zero, whatever it is,
Yeah,
looking
that
awesome
did look
there.
interesting. Yes,
I was liking, of course, Final Fantasy VII announcement, but we'll leave that for later.
that's another
Um,
hangout.
yeah, I know. That's got its own thing. What else we got here? Oh gosh, that obviously Star Wars. Although I'm not digging the third person over the shoulder stuff, but hey, that's to each their own. Um, you know what? I saw the was it Tom Clancy's? Yeah, I think it's the Division. I saw some
Yeah,
gameplay of that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
looks
And
interesting.
I mean, it's third person again, but I don't know. It kind of reminded me of Last of Us
Right. Well, I
as
said
far
that
as
last year.
like, uh,
I said the same thing last year, and then I said it this year when they
mm,
showed it at Microsoft's conference. But then
okay,
when was it Ubisoft or EA that's making that game?
Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, when I watched Ubisoft's
Ubisoft. Mm-hmm.
conference, um,
Okay.
they gave a little bit more in depth description of that, um,
Okay.
and I thought it was good. It looked good. Um, I heard that there's supposed to be some RPG elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
If
That's what I
that's
hear
the
too.
case, and if it's like an online Last of Us with RPG elements, like you can count me in. You know what I
I,
mean?
it seemed that way, although the multiplayer was kind of interesting. I mean, that was kind of what they were showing on this run around. I know last year they showed the single player with, where you had three people and they were kind of doing a mission thing. They
Right,
showed the multiplayer this time. It seemed pretty interesting, although the guy was really stressing that you could go down really quick if you're not in cover, and it
right,
just seemed like, it was going to be very team based in the way where you can't really lone wolf it. You know what I mean? You could probably try,
right,
but I
right.
don't see that being something you're going to be able to do.
Well, what I did like is it's
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's strikingly similar in some ways to The Last of Us because even online that was a lot of fun. But
Oh yeah, absolutely.
what I really liked about the Division, from what I've seen thus far, is the ability to fuck over your teammates. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, you
when
could you could
you can kill them and take their loot. You know what I mean? It's not just
well yeah
rival
well the
teams.
yeah the thing well yeah it wasn't really because that what did they the guy described it as you're not really on, it's not your actual teammates, it's
Right.
just
People you're
like
moving
you
with.
could, yeah, well not even that, you've got your group of three, and then it's kind of almost like, I don't want to say, it's almost like a public event in Destiny, and I hate to compare it to that because it's really not, but in the idea where you're killing a certain group of enemies, another group comes up and helps you, and then you can decide to kill that group and take the stuff that they got from it. Is really, to break it down in its simplest
Right.
form. That's what's happening there.
Right. Now, the only thing of what I'm, are maybe a little concerned, I guess, maybe that's the wrong word,
Hmm.
I don't know. When it comes to the
Okay.
division, is I haven't seen or heard of anything of the
Hmm.
single player experience on there, or if it's just going to be a
Uh,
complete MMO with, devoid of anything, you know,
no,
relating to a
no.
story or
Last year is when they showed, not really. It's single player, but it's God, I hate to use Destiny again as an example, but I don't have anything else really. Where, yeah, I know, where, okay, you get a fire team and you go into, like, let's say patrol, but it's kind of like what Destiny was supposed to be, where, okay, you're on Manhattan Island and you can go anywhere on Manhattan Island, and then you know how, like, on Spider-Man and stuff, you could do a mission, like it'll highlight a mission over here, then you could go do
right.
that mission, get
Okay.
something for it, and then go, then you could go do something else, is
Okay.
what it was,
Okay.
to say for sure.
Okay.
That
Um,
would be the best example that I could come up with.
okay. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
the division, that was actually, I made a list And
Okay.
anybody watching or anybody that watches this on YouTube later when the archive goes up,
YouTube.
I've been moving. I started moving on Monday, Tuesday. I don't even remember
I
now.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I caught
Hmm.
the first two big conferences, Microsoft's, and then I watched Ubisoft and EA as well, and then I caught Sony that night, which is when obviously I made the Final Fantasy VII video of us going nuts.
Woo!
Um, but I haven't. I've only caught bits and pieces on my cell phone because the internet just got set up about 24 hours ago here,
Yeah.
and we're still. I mean, you can see my TV set up, my PlayStations and stuff, and my Wii U is set up, but I haven't had time to touch them other than to make sure that they're working. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right, right.
I mean, and the house is a mess because we're still unpacking and getting organized. Um,
Sure.
what I wanted to have you watched Nintendo's digital event?
Nah, nah. I mean,
Okay.
I heard
Do
that
you, at this
they.
point? Well, let me ask
Hmm.
you this before you answer.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but
That's okay.
do you at this point do you even need to watch their event?
No, I got everything I needed from IGN on my app,
Right.
and they basically showed off Star Fox, which
Right.
we know was coming, and
Okay.
I
Well,
think that
hang
was
on. Let me
it.
see. Let me see here. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, what did you think of Star Fox?
I mean, it's Star Fox. I mean, I liked that they were. It seems like now, granted, I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but it seemed like they were taking all the elements of all the old ones, including the RPG that was okay, into like one game. So you're going to be able to go possibly in and out of the ship. And I mean, there'll be a couple land missions, then some space missions, but
Right.
hopefully priority in space, right? Mostly in space, since space is what Star Fox is all about. It's not about
Right.
really
Well,
getting
yeah.
out of the
It's not.
ship.
It's not Star
Yeah,
Fox Adventures
right. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't remember the
or that
title
that
of it, what
shitty
happened
that
there.
shitty. Was it? I think it was the Wii. Was it the Wii or
Huh.
the? I can't remember. It's been so long. The Wii or the GameCube. The last time we had a Star Fox game. After it was after Star Fox
Um,
Adventures.
oh, After Adventures?
Yeah, I can't remember. It's
Didn't they
been a
do a
while.
remake? I want to
And
say they
yeah,
did a
and it
remake.
well, isn't it? Yeah, they did for the 3DS or the Nintendo
Yeah,
DS.
that's the last
Um,
one I can remember.
but here, hang on a second. Let's do
All right.
this. You got it yet? Can you
Okay.
see it?
I got it. Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Okay. I'm gonna give you my thoughts now because I've been waiting. I've been dying to talk to you about this because we're both huge Star Fox
Okay.
fans.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So the first thing that I noticed is it
Hmm.
looks graphically it's reminiscent of obviously Star Fox 64, which is not a bad
Oh
thing.
yeah.
The art style,
Hmm.
like even watching it now, it's like I want to play it just because of the art style. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That was our
Sure.
generation Star Fox game was the 64.
Hmm.
Now what I'm also
Right.
noticing, which really pisses me off, is especially if you go and watch the Treehouse demo, like where they're playing it and stuff, like
Hmm.
the graphics are all aliased and they're choppy, and I mean
Hmm.
it looks like a 64 game. You know, it doesn't look like
Hmm.
and I mean this is bad. The Wii U is a piece of trash. It's a wasteful piece of plastic at best. But like, I mean, is this the best they can do? I mean, and if that was done on purpose, you know what I mean?
Mm,
I mean,
no.
and I don't know. I mean, it just this. I probably should have put on the gameplay
Hmm.
demo that they did because the trailer here is a little more polished than what I saw them playing. Like when I watch on the Roku or when I
Hmm.
watch on when I watch on YouTube or anything.
Right.
Holiday 2015. Okay, that answers my question. Like I said, I've been moving, so I wasn't sure of the release date.
Right.
Okay, and let me get rid of that.
On the Wii U.
Okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. I have some major concerns. I mean,
Okay.
the graphics aren't necessarily going to make or break the game for me.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm a huge Star Fox fan, and I know you are too. But
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. I don't. I
I,
mean, I
I
don't have
can't
a
I
Wii
can't
U, but
say yeah, but like even the Wii U is basically a PlayStation 3.3. You know what I mean? It's not quite point because the PS4 is a PlayStation 3.5. The Wii U's kind of in between PS3 and PS4 somewhere,
Right.
closer to 3 than to 4. But like that's the best they could do. Seriously, you know what I
You know,
mean?
you have no idea how long this game has been in development, though. I mean, this
Right,
could have been
right.
something
And granted,
where they
it could
had
be.
the. Uh-huh.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it could have been something, where not necessarily say from the 64, but it could have been something where they're like, oh, we'll make it for the cube, and then maybe it never came around on the cube, and then
No, see, no,
you
no.
know the
I think you
the original
misunderstood what I
Wii
meant.
did. Okay.
When I said like it's reminiscent, like the art style is reminiscent of the
Hmm.
N64. You gotta go,
Okay.
bud. Hang on. Sorry, you gotta go. But graphically, like the look at the
Right.
the it's all aliased and
Oh yeah.
I'd have to find a like I said I shouldn't have put the trailer on. I should have put the gameplay video up.
All right.
I have some concerns over the graphics. I know it's the Wii
Hmm.
U and I know it's Star
Right.
Fox, but I feel
Right.
like there should be a hell of a lot more detail in
Okay.
everything we saw.
Hmm.
And it
And
just
maybe
it
that's
doesn't.
the point they're at. Maybe they haven't polished it yet. Maybe.
But but knowing given Nintendo's history with delays, I don't. And
Yeah.
for just to digress for 1 second, there's no way this
Hmm.
game's coming out in 2015. There's no good graphics or bad graphics. There's no way. I mean, I don't buy it for a second. I didn't buy it
Hmm.
last year, and I still don't buy it. There'll be at least one delay for it. Not all like it'll come out in May or June next year. But
Probably.
anyway, that's just what I think. Um,
Hmm.
do you think a game is going to look that unpolished from a graphical standpoint? Um, this
No.
close to? I mean, what July is what a week and a half away. I mean,
Yeah.
Christmas. We're halfway to Christmas in just a few more days. So I
And
mean,
and yeah. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
You have to remember this video, for all we know, could have been put together 6 months ago.
Right.
So you're talking, they put a video together 6 months ago, and then they keep working on the rest of the game, and they could be polishing the game right now. Well, they should be polishing the game right now because I
Right.
mean, even on my iPad, even with the screen being small and everything, I could still see anti-aliasing,
Right.
and it was really small, and I'm like, wow, that looks pretty triangle-y.
Right.
And
Now
I
go.
get it
Well,
that
try
that
watching that.
uh-huh.
I know you don't have a Roku, but try watching it. You don't have a Wii U
Mhm.
either to get the trailer. But try
I,
watching it on a 1080, 1080, 60-inch screen. You know what I mean?
yeah, well,
If you're seeing that on your little, I don't know how big your iPad is, but
uh,
imagine that at 60 inches and in
right,
1080.
right. Well,
I just thought it was really unimpressive. And but here's the more important thing: graphics are important. I'm not
mhm,
one of those guys that says graphics aren't important because
right.
they are. They totally
Okay.
are. If they weren't, I would play in SD. You know what I mean? I'd play in 480.
Right.
There's
Sure.
a reason I play in 1080. But
Hmm.
anyways, my main concern when I saw that trailer, I did get to see
Ah,
it when we were right when we
mhm.
had started our move on
Okay.
Tuesday morning. I was watching on my phone in the car, and the
Okay.
bullshit with the Wii U gamepad. I don't want to
Hmm.
go first person with that, and I don't want to have a second player sitting next to me on the couch
Hmm.
shooting or aiming or piloting or vice
Uh-huh.
versa while I'm doing the other. And they said that was probably going to be incorporated or maybe incorporated. I want a Wii U Pro controller,
Hmm.
the one without the screen on it, or I want to be able to use my gamepad because I'm not going
Right.
to I'm not going to spend any more fucking money on that
I,
piece of shit.
I don't see them.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
I
see
want
them doing
traditional
something like that.
controls. You know what I mean?
And I would say
I
they
want
they do that. They had to have
right.
learned that from Mario Kart. I mean,
Well,
they've had
and
Mario
that's
Kart just. Hmm.
well, they did it with. I'm sorry, they did it with Punch Out back on the Wii. They did it
Right.
with all the Mario games.
Right.
They did it with just about every other game. They always include traditional controls, so
Sure.
you either on your gamepad or you can turn the Wii remote sideways and play it like
Hmm.
an NES, like an NES game.
Right.
Um, but that's my only concern. Some of those features, like if you have to zoom in, is that going to be negatively affected if you're not using the gamepad? You know what I mean? Is the game going to rely on those features, or
Hmm.
or are the features going to what am I'm
Right.
trying to say is are the is the Are the features going to drive the game, or is the game going to drive the features? Because the game should be driving the features. And
Absolutely.
traditionally, especially the last 15 years or so, Nintendo
Hmm.
doesn't do that. All of their things are gimmicks. You know, all of the
Right.
features, they want the features to drive the games or the hardware.
Right.
And
Right.
despite it failing a million times, they keep doing it. So that's really my only concerns, like slash gripe about Star Fox.
Okay.
Even if it looks like sorry,
That's okay.
if it looks kind of choppy and alias like it did
Hmm.
here at E3, I'm
Hmm.
still gonna buy it,
Right.
and I'll buy it digitally, but I'll still buy it and play it, and I'll probably enjoy it. But I can't say that I wouldn't be like really disappointed. Even for the Wii U, I expect a lot more. You know, if this was a Zelda game,
Hmm.
you know, even with that shitty ass cartoon style that they're stuck in with that
Right. Yeah.
series, it's still those games are always polished, like visually,
Hmm.
audio wise. You know, everything's top notch. So I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, as far as Star Fox, I think that the video, or at least I'm really hoping the video that we're watching is like a couple months old. It's an old trailer that, they
From an
didn't,
early build?
from an early build from, when, I mean, probably no more than 6 months old. But I would think, if all the mechanics are down, if all the levels are built, and all they're going back over and doing is cleaning it up, and I don't know, addressing the
Little shine.
anti-aliasing. Yeah, you
Right.
know what I mean? Just like, okay, the wings are really aliased here, here, and here. Well, let's smooth that out. Let's, and the R wings, are all the same. It's just the pilot that's different. So you fix one R wing and you fix the entire group. You know what I mean? There's only one
Right.
tank. There's only, even Star Wolf's ships are very similar to, the
Yeah, I saw
the R
Pigma.
wings. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're they're still very similar. So fixing the anti-aliasing, I don't think is going to be
an issue.
as big a thing as it's going to be. I mean, mainly it looked like it was on the ships. I mean, the surroundings, and I was really, the ship was what seemed to pop out the most. And maybe that's just because you're always looking at the ship and you're not really looking at the surroundings. You know what I mean?
Which is probably why
Um,
you and I aren't very good Star Fox players.
yeah, I know, really. Oh yeah,
um,
there was that
now,
turret over there.
exactly, that's my problem. I tend to get tunnel vision when I play Star Fox or any
Hmm.
shooter like that. I look right in the
Right.
crosshairs, and I never look in my peripherals. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So now I wanted to ask you too with Star
Sure.
Fox. Um, what do you think about like the R-wing basically becoming a transformer?
Uh, I don't know. I mean the R wing has been, when they brought out the 64, they went into that all range mode where
Oh,
you
right,
could
right,
change your and it was just to kind of give it that, I think, that X-wing appeal, you know what I mean, where the
right.
wings kind of, X-wings, they, well, they open and close their wings, and I think they were going for the same kind of feel there. Even if you didn't realize it, and I think subconsciously you probably were like, oh yeah, it's kind of like, even if you didn't really realize it, that, oh yeah, it's doing, as far as it doing all these crazy things, hopefully not. I just don't see it. It's not Robotech. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Now, see,
It's
I
it's
don't
not
have a
it's not it's not that. I know
right.
I know I know Japanese love that stuff. They're real big into those things, and there's some shows where it works because, like, what's a good one? Gundam. That's a good show that
Right.
that always has the robots and the ships that transform
Voltron?
into robots. And Voltron, you know what I mean? The original,
Yes, the
stuff
cars
like that.
suck.
I just don't. I don't. I don't know. It depends if they do it right. Maybe.
Now, see that.
The Landmaster tank was always a fun thing to use
So is the
in
submarine.
the. Oh yeah, I forgot about. Yeah, that's only
Yes, it's
one
been a
level,
long
man. That
time.
thing was so cool, but that was only in one
Yep.
level. They didn't.
Now,
They
see,
didn't.
I had
Mhm.
like mixed feelings when I was watching the reveal, and granted, it like I said,
Sure.
I was on my cell phone watching in a car with all five of the kids in the car, so I could barely hear
Right.
anything.
Sure.
Um, but my first thought was, okay, I get that. I was kind of hoping for this to see the submarine again, but we
Hmm.
saw. I expected the Landmaster as well, and I'm glad we'll get that again. But my thought when it turned into that little like ATST type Walker, I thought,
Mhm.
man, that we're going back into that Star Fox Adventures territory. And by the way, I loved that game.
Yeah, it
So
was a
I'm
good
not I'm
game.
not gonna. It's one of those games where I wish it hadn't been a Star Fox game, even though it was based on. It was like Super
Right.
Mario Brothers 2. It wasn't really originally intended to be a Super Mario game, a Doki
Mhm.
Doki Panic or whatever they called it, or still call it. And Star Fox Adventures was supposed to be something else, and they slapped Star Fox in there to presumably to sell more copies.
I
Um,
would say yeah.
but
But I
when I
think that
saw, well,
game
yeah,
would
when
have
I
done well even if you didn't.
yeah, oh yeah, I mean it's a really good game. It's fun, but it's
Really
kind of like,
short.
well, that, and it's kind of like when you don't get a traditional, which we'll talk about too, probably which deserves its own hangout alongside Final Fantasy VII. That fucking Metroid title they showed off.
Oh, you know what? I
It's,
didn't see the
yeah,
Metroid title. What
yeah.
do you
Well,
got
let's.
on?
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that off the air before we go live to discuss it. Um, um,
That
but
good, huh?
I have to say
Hmm? You have to
my.
say your what?
I was giving you like stink eye, dude.
Oh. Ah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
no, when I saw it turning into that like Walker type thing,
Right.
I thought, okay, if we're gonna go in that. If they're going in that direction, It's gonna be a little bit like Star Fox Adventures, and less like a
Mhm.
traditional Star Fox, like the original on the SNES or the 64 version. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
I want basically what I'm trying to say is I want that pure Star Fox game where it's Arwing, of course, the Landmaster, Submarine, and
Right.
I'm all for change and new additions, but I don't
Mhm.
want change for the sake of change, and I don't want gimmicks, which
Right.
Nintendo seems to be hung up on for the last decade and a half.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get Star Fox regardless, but unless like some early review says it's a steaming pile of dog shit or something, but
Uh,
um, yeah, I'll probably buy it. I just those were my concerns over it. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in Nintendo these days, so
no
time will
reason to.
tell. Yeah,
There's no
time will.
reason.
No,
There's
no,
no reason
no.
to have any.
Yeah, I lost that halfway through the Wii's life cycle.
Yeah.
So now,
Mhm.
real quick, I kind of
Sure.
wanted to start the show with this, but what did you think of? I know you haven't seen Nintendo's, and I've gone back and watched like the clips, the major reveals.
Hmm.
Um, and I saw the opening where it was Miyamoto, Iwata, and Reggie
Hmm.
Fils-Aimé
Hmm.
in like Muppet form. And as soon as I saw that opening,
Hmm.
I knew exactly what that press conference or that digital event was going to be like, and
Okay.
who it was aimed at. But that aside, setting Nintendo aside, because that also deserves its own hangout one of these days.
One of
Um,
these days.
yeah, like a whole day's worth of hanging out. Um, what who had the better press conference in your opinion, Microsoft or Sony?
Whew.
And what did you think of both?
I mean, I honestly I think Microsoft might have won a little bit just because I've seen some of the things they revealed. They just had a lot coming,
Yeah,
and I mean like stuff people have been expecting. You got Gears, you've got was there a Mass Effect? I don't remember now. I know it's just
just a
a,
small
you
teaser
know, Mass Effect.
for a
You
new
had,
galaxy. Yeah,
you've got the next Halo coming. You've got a lot of titles coming, and like I was saying with the PS4, it was a lot of indie. You know what I mean? It
right,
had
right.
maybe
Well, we
three
knew that
major
going in.
releases. Yeah, the Division's not even until next year in March, and that's a
Yeah,
long ways off, and you don't even know if that'll happen or not.
yep,
EA will stick with their promise of getting Battlefront out on the date that they say because they need to compete with Call of Duty. They won't miss that date. They never have. So
right.
I don't have any worry about that. That Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't even think they announced a date for that.
No, I didn't
So,
see one.
God only knows there. They had the Final Fantasy thing, and I know we wanted to talk about that on a later date, so I won't, I'll leave my comments on that for later. So I mean, but that was it. I mean, there was no Man's Sky or whatever, which is intriguing, but I need to see a little bit more of that before
See,
I'm convinced to spend whatever it is they're going to ask for
see
that.
that game,
Mhm.
it piqued my interest last year at E3 because I thought, oh, space, yeah, let's go
Sure.
discover new planets
Right.
and procedurally generated maps and stuff, or
Hmm.
or galaxies or whatever it is.
Right.
That's awesome, but like as I was watching that reveal, I was
Hmm.
like, well, what the hell is this? Do you I think eventually I saw, yeah, I know I did now. Um,
Okay.
the guy, the character pulled out a weapon and started shooting stuff. But is there some kind
Right.
of story to this? Are you saving the universe
I
or the
don't.
galaxy,
I
or
don't
is it
know.
just
They said.
is it
Mhm.
90% exploration? Like those my kids love those games where you go
Hmm.
and explore and
Hmm.
you have no weapons, there's really no story. You just kind of
Hmm.
go and wander around in first person,
Right.
and
Right.
the game. It's stagnant. You know what I mean? You don't do anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. I hate
Well,
that.
and I can't answer that question, to be honest. I mean, the
Right.
only thing I know is that the guy mentioned in the beginning that there were going to be 3 factions. So there, seems to be a possibility. Personally, I think they'd have done better if you could make your own factions and then take over your own planets, and then people could fight because, people love fighting.
Right. Right.
you know, in the sense where they just, oh yeah, no, I want that planet. No, you can't have it, and they have a big fight over that. But yeah, that's the only thing I saw. I did see one thing, and I have to look into it more. That was on Xbox side, and they have I don't know if you saw it. It was something called the Rare Collection. Like
Yeah. The
they
30.
took all of yeah the 30 games, and I didn't get a chance to look at the list of what the 30 games were. I probably should do that real quick while I'm talking here. But I was curious on what the 30 games were, because if you had something like original oh
Uh-huh.
god, I can't think what it's called. Original jeez. Original Killer Instinct. There we go. God, I can't think of the word. If you have like the original Killer Instinct series, which I doubt they would do because you'd need a whole disc just to do that. Um, you
Right.
know, and they have that one out where it's you pay for it. So I highly doubt that's going to be on there. But there might. I mean, I'm wondering, does that mean Perfect Dark's on there? Because Perfect Dark was a rare
Yeah,
game.
I did see Perfect Dark on
You know
there.
what I mean?
If I
Yeah,
think I
so
did, or at
I
least,
mean that might almost. I mean, Perfect Dark was a fun game. I mean, it might be worth
Most
picking that up. But
see, that's the thing.
I don't know.
Most of those
Uh-huh.
games that I saw that I would play, I can play
Yeah,
on a computer here. You know what I mean, on an emulator.
sure. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
And
that's very true.
all those emulators have those, like, they're kind of nice. They have those little graphical improvements, those little engines.
Sure,
You know, so like
sure.
Super Eagle and stuff like that, or
Hmm.
whatever they call. I haven't played any emulators in close to a year. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow.
I don't know that game.
Killer
eh,
Instinct is on there.
Is it? Oh yeah,
I
the
pulled up.
original.
Yeah, I
Yes,
pulled
you're
up the
right. The
list.
original is. The
Yeah,
original is.
Killer Instinct Gold, Perfect Dark Zero, and the rest of them are pretty old ones. But apparently no GoldenEye.
Hmm. Oh, I know that's your
And
game, dude.
that's an awesome game, dude. GoldenEye is the
That was
shit,
the
dude.
Fred in the late '90s, dude. Plus GoldenEye.
That was
Hey, you want
everybody
to,
in the late
Fred?
'90s.
Do you want to play Tekken
Nobody's.
3?
Huh.
Do you want to play Command and Conquer? Do you want to play Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9? No, I got GoldenEye.
I got GoldenEye. I
um.
know, really.
Okay, so what did you
Huh.
outside of putting Final Fantasy 7 aside? What did
Right.
you think? What did you think of Sony's conference, man?
Sony's conference. It really, and in a nutshell, it wasn't anything that we weren't expecting. They kind of went, I don't know, they kind of brushed over, some of the like the Morpheus and the stuff that we didn't want to talk about. I think that they could have done their um, lineup of videos or lineup of reveals a little bit better. I know we talked about that after they released Fantasy 7 one. It was like the show just went all downhill after that. I mean,
Right,
not even Uncharted 4, I think, brought it back. And especially when
right,
they had the screw up or technical problem. I don't even know what happened, or where the
right.
guy
And
either
it started
died
over.
or reset, yeah, or something. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, I wasn't really like wowed or anything. It was more like, okay, yeah, great. Now I'm not really interested in that. Okay, that's really
Right.
cool, but now I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, oh yeah, 3 games. I already, yeah, and I could have watched EA's show for anything on on Star Wars. You know
Right.
what I mean? I
Right.
didn't need to
Right.
watch
Right.
Sony's for that. So you take that out, and you're really looking at like 2 games. I mean, I'm not into Assassin's Creed. I hadn't been
Woo!
since yeah, I know. I know, Assassin's Creed, I'm not, I tried it. It didn't really resonate with me all that much. It's kind of like, oh, okay, we're going into the past somehow. And yeah, it just didn't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not an
It,
Assassin's Creed
it,
fan either.
yeah, I mean, if it was more like open worldish, I mean, then yeah, I understand people are going to tell me, no, it is open world. You didn't play the one with the pirates where you go and do anything. Okay, well, fine. I didn't play the ones with the pirates, but they need to get me on the first game, not the third
Right.
game,
Right.
where
Right.
I have no idea what's, because that's a very story based game where each story is stacking and telling you more and more and more about it. It's not a game where you could start in the middle. Yeah, you probably could, but you won't have all the bits and pieces of everything. Because that's a very, it's a very linear story where you can't just go into the middle and it'll catch you up.
Right.
So,
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. Um,
but I mean, uh-huh.
no, I was just gonna say, so you haven't really, well, and you don't need
Hmm.
to. You don't really need to see
Right.
Nintendo's conference to
No.
know
Mm-mm.
anything. And you
Sure.
don't own a Wii U, and I doubt you'll ever
Right.
own one.
No,
Um,
no, I'm not gonna own a Wii
there's
U.
no
No.
reason to.
Nope.
Um,
None
so
whatsoever.
would you say in your opinion, was Microsoft better than Sony?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say they won this round, and rightfully so. I mean, they lost pretty big when the PS4 was announced, and then they announced the Xbox One, and everybody was just like,
Right.
yeah, no.
Right.
And I think that they're gonna gain a lot of momentum as far as, oh hey, yeah, maybe I'll get an Xbox One now. You know what I mean?
Right.
They bring in a little bit of a price drop, which they probably won't do, but when they do, I think they'll pick up a lot of people there. It happens every time. It's the same thing when the 360 came out and the PS3 came out, and nobody was like really into the PS3. Everybody was into the Xbox 360, and then little by little, people started picking up the PS3, and it is what it is.
Yeah, $600 PS3 because it had
Yeah,
Blu-ray in it,
yeah, no,
which lasted all of like 2 years, and then everybody went to streaming and downloading.
right, right. Yeah. Well,
um.
I mean, you can still use it to watch movies, and that's what I do. So.
Oh, okay. Well. So well for
Mhm,
me, um, I caught bits and pieces of Nintendo show.
mhm,
And I'll probably do my own single rant video on this later. I thought
mhm.
Nintendo, not only was Nintendo's presentation worse than usual, worse than it has been in many, many
Okay.
years, um, for a number of different reasons, which like I said, I won't elaborate on too much here. Um,
Right.
but I thought it was total dog shit.
Wow.
Star Fox is a day one buy for me, unless it looks, I mean, unless they unveiled something that looked, you know what I mean, just absolutely horrid and went
Right.
way off the kind of established formula. Like,
Sure.
and I'm going to buy Star Fox. And then, I'm sure there'll be things about that game to criticize, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to praise.
Mhm.
But outside of Star Fox, there wasn't a single
Yeah.
fucking thing that I saw that I wanted. And I'm
Okay.
just for anybody watching, and you already know, I'm not a
Yeah.
mobile game. I'm not a mobile gamer at all.
Right.
Um, if I need to play a mobile game, I have my Galaxy Note 3. Someday I'll have a Galaxy Note 4. I'll never own a 3DS. I'll never
Right.
own a PlayStation Vita or any of their successors. And that's if I got into mobile gaming. Um,
Right.
I don't even think I wasn't even a mobile gamer when I was young. I never gave two shits about the Game Boy, about the Game Boy Advance.
Sure.
The only time I actually played mobile games on a Nintendo handheld when I was in the bathroom. That's it. So like their show this year was
Mhm.
comprised, like it was 90% or more
Mhm.
3DS titles,
Mhm.
and most of those were underwhelming. And then the Wii U
Mhm.
games they showed were just, I mean, what else can you
Right.
say other than, I mean, dog shit says it all, dude. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Wow.
I
Mhm.
know that Nintendo has its cheerleaders and its pom pom wavers and
Right.
sycophants for sure. But I prefer to be honest about it. But not only did their conference suck, it makes me angry. You know what I mean? When they have a presentation like that, they're so Nintendo is like so out of touch with the entire industry
Right.
and the industry's entire audience. They
Hmm.
try to focus. It's funny because like you and I and everyone else bitched and complained about E3 all the way up until these last two consoles were announced and
Sure.
discussed there. Was that E3 2012 or 13? I don't remember. Um,
Hmm.
because everything was PlayStation Move, Wii, and
Hmm.
and Connect. Um,
Right.
Now Microsoft and Sony learned their lesson, and they knew. Now they know now, like
Hmm.
that the people that watch E3 and the people that attend E3
Hmm.
are not the same types of people that buy and play Connect games or PlayStation Move games or
No,
play Wii
absolutely not.
games. Yeah, fucking dog shit, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
but Nintendo still like can't get their shit together and they don't want to. So like the conference not only sucked, but it like seeing that stuff really like was just irritating. It has the opposite effect, and I'm not the only one. To touch on the one game real quick for the 3DS, it was hang on a
Hmm.
second.
Oh, was hang on a second. Okay.
Okay, sorry, they were looking for keys. Um,
That's okay.
no, they unveiled a Metroid game for the
Okay.
3DS called
Sure.
Metroid Prime. Not I almost said Hunters. Metroid Prime Federation Force, and it's this
Okay.
like. And this is just a point of reference to kind of give you an idea. You can go look on YouTube
Okay.
later. Actually, let's
Okay.
do this since I don't know why. Hang on.
All right.
Okay. It's this Metroid game, and I want you to pay close attention to something here.
All right.
Let's see. Here it is. Okay, this is Nintendo's own. Okay, hang on. Let me share the screen. It's a.
Yep.
I'm not even. I don't even have to describe it. Let me just play the trailer for you so you can see. All right,
Okay.
here we go.
I'm watching it. I can see it.
I'll try to contain my rage.
Okay. Metroid Prime Federation
Instead,
Force.
yeah.
Wow.
Instead of a proper Metroid game, which they could have started development on years ago after Metroid Other M sucked ass the moment it came out. This is
Wow.
what we get. This is what fucking Nintendo dishes out. Now look. Now look at the likes and dislikes on the video. Do you see it?
Uh.
Right
Yeah.
here.
Oh wow.
There's a
Yeah.
petition.
Yeah.
There's a petition which I think is stupid and silly, but is
Uh huh.
also awesome because it's Nintendo like pom pom waivers, not like us, not guys
Uh
who
huh.
enjoy their games or their
Uh
some
huh.
of their first party games, but
Right.
guys who normally defend Nintendo to the death. There's
Hmm.
a petition to have Nintendo cancel the game. That's how
Oh wow.
bad it is. That's how hated it is. Um,
Huh.
and there we go. That's what they gave us. I didn't see that during the move. I came home and watched it later, and then
Uh
I looked at. There's reaction videos everywhere like to
huh.
this, and there's people like just tearing it up. Um,
Wow.
I think the petition to have the game
Hmm.
canceled is an awesome form of protest.
Right.
But I think I mean it's silly. It's going to be silly and ineffective in the end.
Oh sure.
But
Sure.
it's still awesome to see this group of people, especially when they're
Hmm.
hardcore Nintendo fans or sycophants, like
Hmm.
stand up and tell the company that they defend to the death, "Hey, fuck you, we're tired of this." You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
finally it's funny because from the time the Wii came out and started
Hmm.
selling all those millions of units, and the Wii U
Hmm.
came out, and these people became Nintendo diehard, I'll defend it to the death type of people.
Right.
Um, they it's been doing that. It's been going that route for 15 years. People are even guys in the media, they try to find something positive or some kind of positive spin on shitty Nintendo products. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if you're
Um,
gonna find positive on that, but all right.
but without digressing too much off to do my own Nintendo rant video someday. Um, and I'll have to write it out. I'll have to make a script, otherwise I'll go nuts. But that's what we get for Metroid. And Metroid, I don't even count Metroid Other M because that game was such garbage.
Mhm.
Like we haven't had a proper Metroid game or a good Metroid game in when did Prime 3
When did
come out? When was
Yeah, I was
Corruption?
gonna say
I think that
when
was
did Prime
07,
come out?
2007. So
Wow.
it's been 8 years. And then they after
Hmm.
everybody got angry, I think it
Right.
was IGN asked somebody at Nintendo down at E3, hey,
Uh-huh.
when what about a proper Metroid title or a traditional title?
Uh-huh.
And they said even if they started today, which so that means they haven't started at all, or it's like
Right.
unlikely
Yeah.
that they have. It would be 2 or 3
Right.
years away, and it probably wouldn't be until the next generation Nintendo console. So
Wow.
it's one of those things. What really pisses me off with this
Not even
Metroid
on their
reveal,
radar.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. With this Metroid reveal, this game's gonna sell like shit, and then it's going to
If
give
that.
it's going to give Nintendo an excuse to go up another Metroid game that doesn't sell because Metroid has this really niche fan base. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Hardcore fan base.
It's the
You know
52,000 that disliked it.
exactly, and it never really sells well from everything I've read and watched, but it's going to give them an excuse to put the franchise back on ice for God, how I don't know how many years. And from Metroid One
Hopefully
to
not.
Super Metroid, it was like 7 or 8 years, and then you know what I
Right.
mean. And then it took forever
Yeah.
to get Metroid Prime One. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
so and the
It
other
did.
thing, just a real quick digression before I
Hmm.
go over my opinions on Sony and Microsoft conferences. Um,
Hmm.
Everybody online, I think I'm the only Metroid fan in the world
Hmm.
that doesn't want two things. Doesn't want one, Metroid Prime 4 because that story
Hmm.
was completed. I
Hmm.
love Metro, and I was one of the most vocally opposed individuals to the Prime series when it was first unveiled. It was going first person. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember that because that was back in
I
the late
remember because
'90s,
you
and
you couldn't do first person.
yeah, it was just horrible. And I was, oh god, I was enraged. And then it came out, and you came home,
You
and
loved it.
yeah, I bought it, and you're like, you bought that? And I loved it, and I still love it. There's all three of them are awesome games. And two, I don't. I want to see the next Nintendo game or Nintendo, sorry, the next
Hmm.
Metroid game be a
Hmm.
console giant TV game. I don't want, and I want it to be and I want it to be side scrolling, not like Other M because Other M was fucking trash. I
Hmm.
want I want traditional Metroid with
Hmm.
the same art style, kind of like they did with Star Fox, but I want modern
Hmm.
graphics. Think
Mm.
like Bionic Commando Rearmed.
Oof.
Back
Right.
to the original and Super Metroid formula, and
Yeah. Wow.
just
I
make
don't know
that
if that's
map.
gonna happen.
No, I don't think it will either. But that's what I want to see. I think I'm the only fan that wants a side-scrolling Metroid adventure on my TV. Like I
Yeah, I
said,
think you are.
I
I don't
don't
think there's
want yeah.
anybody else who's gonna ask for that.
No, and
No, it's just honestly because
Nintendo
and
wouldn't do it even if they did.
Nintendo's not gonna do it. And yeah, no, they're not. They're gonna give you um probably the same thing they did with Prime, and they'll try to add some different weapons. The only thing I do see them doing, hopefully, I mean, and I know that I can't remember. This was like the Game Boy version was really supposed to be what this was,
Right.
but more like an origin. I mean, I know Prime was kind of like an origin thing, but I know as far as Metroids go, the first one was when she went to the planet, which was the Game Boy version. And if anything, I could see them maybe redoing that on, they could redo that on the next console or this console, colorize it, and then you'd have your side scroller that way. Because that was a
Well,
traditional side scrolling one. It was
right.
just in black and white.
Now
So it
see, and
was a really big challenge to play.
well,
Hmm.
here's my other issue too with Metroid.
Sure.
I want the side-scrolling topic.
Hmm.
Um, the whole time, and I don't think I'll ever see it. This is kind of just me fantasizing as a Metroid fan. And this goes for the first three Zelda games too. I want Metroid
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. And
Hmm.
they already redid them on the Game Boy Advance, but even those are old
Okay.
by today's standards. I want
Sure.
I want not remasters. I want HD enhanced remakes of Metroid 1, 2,
Okay.
and 3 and Fusion. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 on a home
Okay.
console for the TV. Because, like I said, I'm not a mobile gamer and I never will play mobile games.
All right.
So, and it seems even if they didn't do complete remakes or retools, I mean remasters make so much sense and there's such easy money. That would be such an
Right.
awesome thing to hold Metroid fans over for the next 7 or 8 years before they make the next proper game in the
Okay.
series. And that was the other thing that I meant to address with regards to Prime. I don't want these sidequels and prequels. I want Metroid 5. We've had 1, 2, 3, which is Super Metroid. We've had Fusion, which is 4. I want Metroid 5. I don't care if they call it Metroid Dread or whatever, you know.
Metroid Dread.
Nintendo and their stupid
That'd be
fucking
interesting.
names, you know, like Super Metroid,
Dread, huh?
Super this, Super that. You know, they name it whatever their console's name is. You know what I mean?
There aren't any Metroids. There aren't any Metroids anymore.
And that's another thing with that mythology. Let's move Samus's story forward. She's in the fusion suit now, so I want to see more of that. I want to see what happens after she takes care of the Metroid problem. What happens after? Are space pirates the only threat in the galaxy? You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's not
Ripley,
like
or was it Riley
Ridley.
or whatever? Ridley. Sorry, jeez.
Dude, you're a Metroid fan. What's the matter with you?
I know. Sorry, I always got his name confused with Alien
Ridley.
for some reason.
Well, they took. Where do you think they got the name from?
Yeah, I know. But I mean, Ridley. I mean, he's in every one. He's always it's Ridley. It's Ridley. It's Ridley.
Well,
it's Ridley. It's like playing. It's like playing Zelda. It's Ganon. It's Ganon. It's Ganon.
See,
even when they tried to change it and do the Wind Waker with the ship and everything, and I thought, oh, cool, it's going to be a different boss. It still turned out to be freaking Ganon.
See, but I don't have a problem with Zelda doing that because Zelda is this. It's the Legend of Zelda. It's this thing that kind of happens time after time. It's the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, it's.
But that's a complete.
It's always the 3 because they're linked by the Triforce, so it's always going to be those 3. I get that. That's fine. Right. I'll get it. But Metroid,
it's a sci-fi shooter. It's a sci-fi. Sorry, it's Metroid.
You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in the universe or the galaxy in that series, and you can't.
Now,
you can't find something else.
How would you feel like in the more Metroid fantasies, like where you don't know until the end, but you're somebody playing in a fusion suit. I hate to say the power suit because I'm tired of that. I want the story to move forward, but I would love to see somebody show up in Samus's armor, regardless of the suit. You go through the entire adventure, and then the shock at the end is you're rescuing Samus, and somebody else is in her armor rescuing her. Like the shock. Remember the shock. Remember the shock when you found out she was a chick at the end of the first game. Like I went nuts. I went nuts the same way I did for Final Fantasy VII's remake. I was like, and I was 13 or 14 at the time, and like, you know what I mean? I was just like, you know, but what would you think about something like that? Would that be cool to you?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's a good way to go. The only problem I have with that is isn't her suit biologically tailored to her?
The power suit, yes. I don't know much about the fusion suit because fusion doesn't have. I hate to say, none of the games really have an intense story. You know what I mean? It's kind of just Samus is alone. Go find some weapons and kick some ass. You know what I mean?
Right. And the suit for some reason always breaks at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that will
everything again.
Yeah. Well, they in Prime 2 and 3 they fixed that. I love what they did in Prime 2 and 3. But I don't know. So I thought I would love to see something like that, but like I said, at this point, it's all just fantasizing because what another Metroid game is? I would say this is just my guess. It would be 7 or 8 years away, like before you get a proper entry, like a canonized entry. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Well, you figure if they're starting today, like you said, that would take 2 or 3 years just to get it out on the next console. So theoretically it could be a launch title, but I don't think they've started development on it.
Yeah,
Um,
but Nintendo's never done a Metroid as a launch title. I can't remember if
no,
they've ever done a Metroid as a
no,
launch
you're
title.
gonna get you're gonna get occasionally, if you're lucky, you'll get a Zelda, and most of the time you get a
Right.
Mario game. That's what happens.
Yeah, you'll get a Mario Kart, and you'll get some gimmick game, and that'll do it. Like what was it? Sports, Wii Sports, whatever it was.
Right. Oh God, more garbage. um,
You know what I mean?
yeah, but getting back on track, we'll do a Metroid hangout one of these days. Um,
Hmm.
Nintendo, I thought was just utter trash, like worse than usual, and they've been bad for years at E3, especially since they bowed out and started this digital event
Yeah.
crap. But their conferences irritate me, and it's probably because the majority of my favorite
Whoa.
games of all time come
Hmm.
from Nintendo.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I know they can
Okay.
do a lot better,
Right.
and they don't, and it's like it's just willful ignorance and arrogance over there. But anyway, Sony I thought laid an egg this year, and I'm
Okay.
not gonna. Final Fantasy VII was the only thing about that conference, and I don't care if that game gave eternal youth and life to everybody on the planet that wanted it.
Hmm.
It still
Hmm.
doesn't make for an entire conference. You know what I mean? For at least
Right.
in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. No.
Um, yeah, I
Not for
have
what they
Uncharted.
showed.
Right, like, and even though I knew that they had no major like, holy shit, I got to buy this type of thing game coming out this year.
Hmm.
There isn't even a lot coming next year,
Hmm.
and like the PlayStation 4, like for me, is one of the most disappointing consoles I think of all time. Not only in terms of hardware and capability, but in
Hmm.
terms of its software library. It survived on indie titles, and it probably will continue to survive that way. Um, but like I was so disappointed,
Okay.
dude. Like it was mostly third parties, which most conferences are now. So
Right.
I expect that, but even that, it's like, well, okay. The most of the games I saw from Sony, third party games, I wasn't
Hey,
interested in.
your audio is getting pretty choppy.
Okay, how's that?
Your audio is getting choppy. Your audio is getting really
Check,
choppy there.
check,
You're like,
1, 2. Is
yeah,
that
there we go.
better?
That's better.
Okay.
What's going on?
Yeah,
Your
I
audio
wasn't.
just started. Yeah,
Uh
it's like
huh.
you got a little bit of an echo, but you're okay now,
Maybe
I think.
might be
Go
some
ahead.
lag. No, I wasn't really too terribly impressed. There were some games,
Hmm.
and that I was interested in, but to be honest, and this is kind of telling, I guess, in a negative way.
Hmm.
I don't remember what the names of those games were. I was mildly interested in them, and I thought, hey, I'd like to see more of that, or maybe even play that at some point. But it was just like, oh, final.
Right.
And to be honest, I think it. I mean, the Final Fantasy VII announcement certainly helped Square Enix because their stock went through the roof, but it didn't help Sony because it overshadowed everything else. So, um, I wasn't
Hmm.
really at all. Not really. I won't say not really. I wasn't impressed with Sony's conference at all. Um, I think it's a lousy time to be a PlayStation 4 owner. Um,
Hmm.
and hopefully 2017 has some awesome stuff coming, or at least the end of next year. Um, Now, as far as Microsoft goes, that they
Right.
actually, it was funny because I tweeted
Hmm.
and put on our Facebook page, make me want an Xbox One because I'm so adamant, or I was so adamant against buying one for the majority of the time since it's
Hmm.
been out. That with the DRM issues and kind of the same
Right.
same reason I'm
Right.
upset with
Right.
my PlayStation and Sony. There just wasn't a lot there to be like, oh, I've got to have this console. This has to be in my living room. You know what I mean? The focus on TV and all that.
Hmm.
But this conference, it wasn't the best E3 conference I've seen from anybody, but it was pretty damn good. Like it made me consider,
Hmm.
like it made me think, you know what? When the price comes down to like $299 and I have the scratch and Gears is available and Halo is available
Right.
and some of those other third parties that were
Hmm.
Xbox exclusives, you know what I mean? Those they had a lot of interesting stuff, or a fair amount of interesting stuff. I won't say a lot. A lot of it's rehashes and
Right.
remakes and sequels, and there isn't a lot of innovation in the industry right now. But yeah, I thought Microsoft totally owned it this year. as far as the big three goes. And now it's
Right.
the big two because Nintendo's not really even in the mix anymore. Um, but I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I
it's
felt
true.
I'm watching Microsoft's conference, and on Monday, and I just thought, man, I kept looking at my PlayStation 4, and I just kept thinking, man, I've got the wrong console sitting in front of me. You know what I mean? That's it's how it made me feel. I don't regret buying my PlayStation 4, but
Right.
um, you know,
Right.
what the
Right.
fuck am I gonna run out and buy for my PlayStation 4 that I can't get on any other console?
That's
Nothing.
true.
You know what I mean? And at least if I
Right.
had an Xbox One, I could go. I could go. Hey, next or in a month and a half, I can get the Gears of War remaster because I'm a huge fan of
Right.
Gears.
Right.
Gears 4 is coming next year.
Right.
Um, and then they had, like I said, all those exclusive third-party titles and some other first-party titles that I was a little more than mildly interested in, which is which is more than I can
Right.
say for the stuff Sony showed. So I thought Microsoft walked away with it. Sony
Oh
kind
yeah.
of laid an egg, and Nintendo just stayed right where they actually didn't know. Correction, they didn't stay where they're at. They went deeper into the hole from whence
Yeah.
they will never climb out of, unless something radical changes. Which, from everything I know about that company, nothing ever will. Um,
Well, we'll see.
yeah, I don't know. So, like, are there any games aside from Battlefront or Seven that Final Fantasy Seven that you want to get for any console?
Horizon. That looked pretty
Horizon.
good.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. I couldn't remember the name. It had
Hor-
me intrigued. That's the
Horizon
one.
Zero
That's the
Dawn.
one where the
Yeah. The
the like
hunter, the chick hunter with
the
the bow, and
the
then
futuristic
the
cave people exploring a
yeah, yeah,
desolated Earth.
yeah. Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, the futuristic cave people. Yeah. Yeah,
But,
that one. That
no,
was about it.
yeah, didn't I tell? I think I told you when we were right before we went on the air to watch the Sony conference together.
Hmm.
That game looked like uh, the Matrix meets like Turok or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
a lot of people associated it with Turok,
Yeah.
and that's not
And then you
necessarily a
had the
bad thing.
Matrix
Turok
because
is
of
a fun
they had
game.
those all the machines. It looked like the machines had
Right,
taken over Earth, and humans were like in this little pocket. You know what I mean? And
right. Hmm.
so yeah, that game has me definitely has me intrigued. What other ones did I see? Star Fox. Almost even don't want to discuss Star Fox anymore because I mean I know I'll play it. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
right.
so there's been Star Fox, Final Fantasy VII, which I'm not even going to try to touch on right now, and Horizon. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that was it for me. Like, oh,
Yeah, that's it. I haven't seen no.
another no. Well, for me, I watched this morning, and I watched live when Damon over at IGN was interviewing
Mhm.
the dev.
Excuse me.
Mighty Number Nine, dude.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is coming.
I'm also a huge Mega Man fan, so
Right,
Mighty Number Nine is the
it's
game that
coming. Yeah.
would have been probably Mega Man 11 if had he stayed with Capcom.
Excuse me.
Um,
Yeah, Capcom got bought out, didn't they, or something?
Capcom's in the toilet, dude. They're circling.
Yeah, I know.
They're circling the drain just like Nintendo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they need
Um,
a something.
yeah, they need more than something. Both of those companies do. Um, yeah, you know what were you hoping to see that you didn't at E3?
What was I hoping to see that I didn't? I I don't know because there wasn't really like most of the stuff that I've been seeing over the last couple of months really didn't like say, oh yeah, I hope I see that at E3, and then I didn't see it.
Right.
It hasn't been anything like crazy. Probably. Oh God, what am I thinking of? And I can't think of it now. And I know you're not gonna. I would say like there wasn't any Eve Valkyrie, which is
Hmm.
it's the Eve Online game, the same thing they did with Dust on the PS3, except they're doing it on the PS4, where you can wear the virtual headset and you can fly a ship in space with
Right.
it,
Right.
in the Eve universe. So I didn't see a lot of that. I mean, they showed it briefly, not even really briefly. They just showed like 2 seconds, maybe 5 seconds of the gameplay trailer they already showed while they were talking about Morpheus. It was kind of just they splashed it across the screen and then went to something else. So we didn't really see any of that, which means that that's still way far off. They didn't, and that's really, I'd say that's really it, because there isn't really anything that's.
You didn't have a lot of high expectations going in.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't heard anything about a Resident Evil, and I don't plan to hear anything about that.
Not for a while.
I mean, we haven't heard anything about anything. I mean, really, it's all, a lot of what's coming out right now, and it's not a bad thing, is indie. And the indie titles, and I'll tell you right now, the indie titles, I already know most of them that are coming out. Like the one I'm trying right now, the one I showed you on the screen, Ark Survival Evolved, that's coming out on Xbox One, supposedly PS4 too, but it's still an alpha, so I bought an alpha key for it. I'll have to find a way to stream it off the PC. I'll have to get some free streamware or something, and I'll stream it through Twitch. But it's basically, I don't know if you've ever played a survival game. Like it's.
Have I ever played a survival game?
Yeah, it's a survival game. It's different. Don't think survival horror, because that's different. Survival, as in you're in a PvP universe, meaning anyone can kill anyone at any time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But the environment can also kill you too. The idea is to literally survive. So you have to get food. You have to get water.
Oh yeah. I played one or two of those.
So you build weapons. This one takes place in some type of basically dinosaurs. You wake up and you're on an island full of dinosaurs, and then there's some obelisks in the sky and stuff. So there's no clear story on what's going on. Oh, and you've got some weird freaking gem in your arm, which allows you to access your inventory. But
nice.
But it's an interesting game. I've been playing it all morning for the most part, kind of checking it out. But it's going to be stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be those kind of titles where it's the not necessarily the large AAA title. Oh, you know what? Geez, I just thought of it. The other game I was interested in was Desus, the new Deus Ex.
Oh, Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, the new one.
Did you call it Deuce?
No. What is that? Mankind or something. I know I have the one, and I haven't finished playing it yet, but I'm interested in that. I would say that would be the only other thing that I was interested in, and that's going to be relative to what it looks like graphically, because the video they showed looked really nice, but I know that's not what the game's going to look like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if that's on PC, that's probably on PC highest settings in a liquid cooled PC that's running like 4 graphic cards or something like that.
Right.
That is phenomenal, and there's no way that that's the actual gameplay. I'm sorry. You could tell me it is till you're blue in the face, and I won't believe you until I see it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, other than that, oh, you know what? I know what I didn't see at E3 that I wanted to see. PSO2. Where's my PSO2, man? Okay,
dude,
where is my PSO2?
That game will never be part of any conference, or that series will never be part of any conference, just because it doesn't have, it's not as wide reaching as. Of course. Well, I didn't see Metroid. I didn't see Metroid. I didn't see Metroid. I didn't see Metroid. And I didn't see Metroid. Yeah, the 5 games that I didn't see this year.
You didn't see this year was Metroid.
Yeah, I'm gonna end the broadcast there.
Right.
I just gotta help out with the kids. Hang out for a second, Fred.
Yep,
everybody watching, thanks. We'll do this again soon.